What's up, everyone? We got him. Utah actually did it. So they got him. That's all I could say. Oh, man. I gotta say, dude, Cox, FBI, if this is actually the dude, which it looks like the dude on the photo, they got him. So before we jump into any of that, we're gonna walk it through. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I wonder why it didn't start kick. Let me see what's going on over here now. Let me see what's going on over here now. Okay. And now we'll check the YouTube stream. Okay, all right. We are lit. I didn't realize I was actually in a minute already. Anyways, yeah, we got him. He's done. He's toast. Now we're gonna see what happens. Is someone gonna get him in prison, or is he going to be uh start people starting GoFundmes for this dude? Gibson goes. We'll find out. All right, so this was earlier today. This was Trump breaks news live on Fox and Friends. Charlie Kirk suspects in custody.
Yesterday, you were at the 9/11 memorial. We were all watching that. And
Yeah.
J.D. Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out to
Right.
be with Charlie Kirk's family and to get the body back to his hometown in Arizona. And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which
That's
was
right.
very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him
Right
in
now.
custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But, yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Mr.
And
President.
he's in custody.
Your suspicion was that he was radical left, and now you have more information. What can you share with us about his ideology?
Yeah, Lawrence, let me just, and by the way, Lawrence is doing a good job. What's going on
Fantastic
here?
job. Yeah.
Great
Mr.
job.
I'll tell you what, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I said you were going to do well.
Swat him.
But, yeah, I think that
looking like that
I don't want to go
racist.
too far. I'd like to tell you some stories at how it happened, but essentially somebody that was very close to him turned him in. And that happens when you had some of those good shots. Somebody is going to say, whether it's a parent or whatever, I'd rather not say right now. They're going to announce it today, sometime later, probably talk about that. But somebody close to him turned him, they said, whoa. It's interesting where we had very good pictures, but not great, not perfect. And when you look at it, what happened is somebody, and this happens a lot. It happened with the crazy Boston bomber. It happened with others. Somebody that's close recognizes even a little tilt of the head, which nobody else would do. And somebody that was very close to him said, that's him. And essentially went to the father, went to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic, by the way. And the person was involved with law enforcement, but was a person of faith, a minister. And brought him to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic. And the father convinced the son, this is it. And again, I'm always subject to be corrected, but you know, I'm just giving you, based on what I'm hearing, they'll give you a much more active. I just heard about it 5 minutes before I walked in. As I'm walking in, they said,
We got
looking
him.
real good. They have the person that they wanted. So you have breaking news, don't you, huh?
Thank you.
Always have breaking news, Ainsley.
Right.
Sean's going to be very disappointed that we're not doing it on his show.
He'll be very thankful and appreciative of the
I think
police
so.
officers that got this
I
guy.
think they did a great job. Everybody worked together. Pam Bondi is incredible, by the way. People don't know what a star she is. She's incredible. And it all worked out.
Could I
To the guys, this time it is Oswalding Key. Unless you actually start showing links on how to set up what you're talking about. I've been trying to set up that crap. I've been trying to link everything. None of it makes any sense. So unless you have tutorial videos to do it, put that in the link and stop telling me lots of streamers discover new viewers there. And that also goes for all of the others that have said this. I've posted the stream. You could post the stream there. But when I go to your guys' stream, there's nothing there. So, yeah. Don't mean to be, a dick, but I'm getting tired of, the only chats that I'm actually getting are where to stream and where to get new streamers. Unless you show how to set it up, I'm not interested. All right, let's get back to this.
Can I ask you just some clarification? So a pastor was able to turn him in, or they got the family of the shooter to turn them in?
Well, it was a minister, and the minister went to a minister who was involved with law enforcement, by the way. And his good friend is a top U.S. Marshal. And they took it from there. And then it was a father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they, so I understand it. And again, subject to change. But, the facts are the facts. We have the person that we think is the person we're looking for. But they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
Did the father know about what the son had done?
I don't know. I'm going to let you get all those questions later, because I can't tell you how accurate. The bottom line is they have somebody that they think did it.
Yeah.
So, Mr. President, there is the death penalty in Utah.
Yes.
And I do know this is going to be a federal case, and there's many of us believe that Charlie was targeted because of his political ideology.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to this guy?
Well, I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine, and I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this. He worked so hard and so well. Everybody liked him. I've been watching. Even the left is having a hard time. They fired this guy, Dowd, from MSDNC, who's a terrible guy, terrible human being. But they fired him. I hear they're firing other people. And, we're talking about radical left. Now, they're a little bit, but radical left networks and cable channels, horrible channels like MS. I always go at DNC because it's, somehow affiliated with the Democrat National Committee. So, it's a little statement you make. But MSNBC, but NBC, ABC, CBS, they're all terrible, absolutely terrible and unfair. But even they have been giving it sort of like this can't be allowed to happen.
And I just love moment of silence at the Yankee game, moment of silence at the Redskin game, Commanders game last night, because they understand this doesn't matter who you voted for. This was a special person. My opinion is that you have people, when a soldier dies, you write a personal letter, you feel it. When something happens in America, you feel it, you show up for it. I feel like with Charlie Kirk, from what I witnessed, is for you, it's almost like a family member.
Don said to me, he's sort of like a son to you. Charlie got involved like 11 years ago, I think. He started, he's a brilliant guy, but he didn't go to college. He actually started in college. He was so bored that he left. He would have done very well in college if he wanted to, but he was brilliant. I always said, can you get a degree, because you're sort of used to having people like you went to college, right? Yeah. But he just didn't have the patience to do it. And he started this really during what would normally be college, maybe even sooner than that, but what would normally be college. And it's become a movement. And, I won youth. A Republican never wins youth, but I won youth. I will tell you, TikTok helped me, but he helped me with TikTok. But he helped me with youth. I've never seen a person who's, in this case, older than the people we're talking about, in many cases. I've never seen young people or any group go to one person like they did to Charlie. Mm-hmm. He'd go out to Arizona, to any school, to Utah, where he was, but any school, also East Coast, anywhere. And he would have bigger rallies than any radical left speaker. And it was killing them because he'd have 5,000 people show up, 10,000 people show up. They'd go and they'd have 50 people, but they talk big league, right? Now, he was an unbelievable talent, but he was more, it wasn't really so much a talent. He just really believed it. He just believed it. He loved young people. He wanted to help young people, and he didn't deserve this. He was truly a good person.
Do you think it's important for people to see how he died? I think that's to see the horrific.
Did
you see
I
it?
didn't watch. I didn't want to watch. I heard about it.
You don't want to watch.
I would have never made a good doctor. Let me put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
No, I mean, I heard enough. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want
I
to
watched
remember
it.
Charlie that way. But
Disgusting.
yeah, it's horrific, is what I hear. Just horrific. I hear that nobody can. I know friends that were there, and they told me. They said what we witnessed, the physical emotion of being there. You know, or watching it on television. He was somebody that I always said he was very talented, but. You know, when you love something so much, it's almost not even talent. It's that you do it well because you like it. It's a passion. And he had a passion for this. I spoke to his wife yesterday. She's like devastated.
Of course.
But in between the devastation, they want to keep Turning Point going.
Yeah.
Because so many people
That's
called
what
in
I
to me
wanna
with
hear.
donations. They went, I don't know who. Do we give donations to her? Do we give it to Turning Point? Do we give it to, you know, any one of the hundreds of colleges that he worked with or universities? And they want to keep Turning Point going. They think they can do it. He had a very good staff, I noticed. You know, Charlie would call me up. I'm president of the United States. And I get a call like a day before. Sir, could you come to Arizona tomorrow? I said, Charlie, I'm president. I can't just come. He said, it's so important. Could you play? And I'd usually try and get there. You know, he's the only one.
20,000.
Yeah, he was such a great guy that he had to end this way. But, you know, in many ways, he's bigger now. Because of what happened. He was really big, important. And I guess this doesn't help his family very much when I say this, but in terms of, you know, very, very important, getting that such a good word, such a solid word. You know, we have so many bad people, so many bad philosophies, ideologies, politics. His was basically just good. Family, he talked about family, he talked about get married, go get married. You know, it sounds old-fashioned when you think about it, but he's right. He was just on. And it's a shame that that voice has been stopped. But I think from what I see, you know, he had some, I got to know a lot of his people. He had great people, and that includes his wife. She's very talented. He said she's the best writer he's ever seen. You know, she's a writer, among other things. So maybe they can really keep it going.
So, Mr. President, was it a one-off? Was this guy that assassinated Charlie?
It seems to be.
He wasn't a part of a bigger network or anything that we know
Well, you
of?
don't know. I mean, you don't know. I hear these people talking so badly about me and others. I'm a guy that just wants to make America great again. You know, we want to look at what we did in D.C. We took D.C., probably the single worst place in the country in terms of crime. There's no crime. It's a crime-free area. I went to dinner the other night, stood out in the middle of the street, did interviews with you guys, but I did interviews right in the middle of the street. If I did that 6 months ago or a year ago, I would have about a 30% chance of being here to talk about
Or
it.
getting shouted down.
And you know, it's amazing. D.C. is now a great safe. Now we're fixing it up physically, too. We're putting in new medians. We're going to give everything a little coat of asphalt so we don't have potholes all over. You know, filling a pothole is fine temporarily, but they'd fill a pothole and never touch it for 10 years.
Right.
You know, old potholes don't look good. We're going to fix it up. We're going to make it beautiful at a very minimal cost. And we're going to have the most beautiful capital in the world. But even more importantly than that, it's very safe. People would come from Iowa. They come from Indiana.
Yeah, but if you try filling potholes in the city of America, they'll actually come at you and give you tickets for it because they're like, oh, you can't do that because you make us look bad.
And their son would be killed. They'd be killed. And now you can come and you can enjoy. I was very embarrassed because I had the president of Poland in, and they started asking me about D.C. a couple of weeks ago. And I said, we're very proud of the fact that nobody's been killed this week. And he looks at me like, you know, head of Poland. He says, what was that? And he said, well, and I'm telling the press, you know, they're doing the little thing in the Oval Office, our great Oval Office, our very upgraded Oval. And the press is asking me, well, what about that? He said, we haven't had anybody killed in the last 3 weeks. And it's been like 9 years since nobody's been killed. Every week, somebody's been killed for years. And we haven't had crime. And they said it's down 87%. I said, what about the 13%? You know, why wouldn't it be? It's down 100%. Right. So you'd be very proud of your capital. You can go there now. And by the way, business is booming. Restaurants are booming. And this all took place within, we really did it in 12 days. But now it's better. You know, each day it becomes even better.
Mr. President, what do you say to the families that are watching, the moms, dads, that we've heard so much negative news with the lady being killed on the train, terrible. Right? And then we have Charlie Kirk. We had a school shooting the other day. And those are just three big events that happened in the last few days. So, or that we learned about. The girl was killed
in the attempts on your life?
Yes.
Well, one thing I do say, I mean, look, we have that maniac has gone through trial right now with a fantastic judge. That was the judge that realized that deranged Jack Smith was deranged, okay? She's a phenomenal judge. I don't know her. I appointed her, but I don't know her at all in Florida. And she's a, you know, really talented person, brilliant judge. And by coincidence, she got that case. And, you know, he's like a wise guy, troublemaker, it seems. But we have to have, for, like, the person that killed the young girl, the beautiful, she was like a beautiful girl, 22, 23 years old. And, you know, when she got onto that train, she was, you could see that she just wanted to hide, even before this happened. She almost like snuck on. She didn't want to make anything. She just wanted to be. She was afraid.
Finished her job.
No, she was afraid. But if you look at her before she was, the way she sort of like just, she wanted to just, and she's looking at her phone like this. She felt very unsafe. Okay, we can't have that. And then this maniac gets up from behind. That's another one I didn't want to watch. I didn't watch it. I knew what happened, but I didn't want to watch it. And what he did to her was unbelievable. And then he walks through, the knife is dripping blood and everything else. One thing I say, we have to have quick trials.
Yeah.
I call it quick trial, because in China, they do have quick trials, you know? They don't wait 6 years and
yeah, you
claim
start
all
off
sorts
guilty and
of
you end up
reason.
guilty in China.
Oh, it's terrible. What happens here is you go through 7, 8 years, and by the time it ends, and then they say, well, you know, he had a reason to do it because he wasn't treated right in grade school, and it's his teacher's fault, and it's the government's fault. That guy should be, they should have a trial the following day as far as.
But do you know that they say?
I mean, when you have somebody on tape, here's a guy on tape getting ready to, and then he did his thing. The whole thing is on tape. This should not be going on. This trial will go on, it'll start in 2, 3, 4 years. We have to have, in certain places that do it differently, they have what's called quick trial. You have a fast trial, a fast verdict. Right. Now, if he's guilty, we're going to have to keep him, feed him, take care of him for, let's say he's 28 or 29 years old, I understand. So, like for 50 years,
yeah,
we're going to be feed.
But he never should have been let out.
Now, in Utah, he shouldn't have been let out. And the judge should be responsible for that, the way she did it. But in Utah, they have the death penalty. And you have a very good governor there. The governor, I've gotten to know him. The governor is very intent on the death penalty in this case, and he should be. In North Carolina, you also have it, but we have to make sure that happens. That was a horrific crime.
But I think Ainsley's point is in the big picture. What do you say to people who are saying they see the assassination attempts in your life, they see the Minnesota lawmakers, they see what happened, they see what happened to Charlie, and they're saying, what's going on with the political process? Now, instead of trying to get votes, you're trying to survive. There are lawmakers canceling their events this weekend, AOC on the left and a lot of lawmakers on the right saying, I'm a little concerned about doing a public event. As president, what do you tell them?
I say you have to go forward. You just have to go forward. You watch, you know, as closely as you can. You have, I have great people. I mean, I have people now much better and far more. When I was hit in Butler, they wouldn't, you know, it was Biden, but they wouldn't approve. We had 55,000 people. We had, you know, we get these tremendous crowds, and I'd have far fewer people than Biden who'd go out. He had many more Secret Service people than me, and he'd have like 8 people show up, but I have 55 or 60,000 people show up. Butler's a great example of that. And we have great people right now. You know, we had a thing happen that's very big. People don't even talk about it. we've won a lot of great decisions. The Supreme Court, I give them a lot of credit. We have a decision on merit. In other words, this country is now a country of merit. You don't have to be a woman or a man or a this or a that.
Give me the best person.
You don't have to be white or black or Asian or whatever it is. It's all based on merit now. And I wasn't sure if anybody would have the courage to make that decision. That was a big, big decision. When you go down to Washington and you see these people, they happen to be strong soldiers. They're big and strong. They don't mind fighting, as opposed to somebody that really isn't equipped to do that weighs perhaps 100 pounds.
And has a third nationality or sexuality. They be him.
Correct. You can say it. I'd rather not say it. I want to see. But it's based on merit. You hire people now based on merit. That's the way the country got great. And I give so much credit to the Supreme Court for that. So with some of these people, though, we're going to have to do, the politicians are one thing, and we can talk about that, but we have to have trials that go quickly.
Okay.
We can't have a trial like this guy. We can't have a trial that's going to start in 3.5 years from now.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And clip.
Yeah, I agree. If it's a murder case and it's literally on video, it should be an open and shut case. I don't believe in the death penalty. I do believe in sending the people that shame our country for doing stupid shit like that should be sent to the countries that we're at war with. Just parachute them down and let them fight their way out. They'll die regardless.
Information we have from our content partners as we are learning the suspect in custody on this Friday in connection with the assassination of Charlie Kirk is a 22-year-old from Utah. Law enforcement officials confirming that to the Associated Press. Authorities identifying the suspect as Tyler Robinson. Now, a lot to discuss, and as we continue this thorough and detailed coverage, I want to transition and bring into the conversation none other than Tim Rabelais. He previously worked for the Secret Service for 22 years on the Presidential Protective Detail. Tim, a pleasure having you join us here on Live Now from Fox. Hello to you.
Hello to you. Thanks for having me.
So a lot to discuss. Tim, let's first go through the latest from that press conference. Viewers, some just might be tuning in. What do we know? We heard from FBI Director Kash Patel saying that it took the community. It was a group effort. If you see something, say something. 33 hours it took to get to this press conference.
Yeah, listening to the press conference and, following along from the time this incident happened, it was, like Kash Patel said, it was great police work. And you can't do this without the community. And you're so right. The see something, say something. It works every time. So it sounds like a great investigation from all partners, state, local, and federal.
We heard from Utah's Governor Spencer Cox in that press conference saying that a suspect's family member actually turned him in. We're also hearing that he was joined alongside a family friend. Let's discuss that, because as the images were circulating, we had images from TMZ, we had images from the campus. We saw these.
All right. Well, I'm not interested in that, dude. I want to see. Here we go. Is this it? Yeah. I want to hear what the neighbors got to say.
Yeah, I mean, we're more and more people showing up here. I actually found two residents here. You guys are both from Washington County area, and I just kind of pulled over. You guys showed up here earlier today, have been here for a little bit. Kind of talk to me about what it was like kind of finding out that something like this happened so close to where you guys live.
It was absolutely stunning. It was shocking, so unexpected. Not in St. George,
Yeah.
Not in St. George.
Not in this tight community
Yeah.
Kind of talk to me. I mean, a lot of people, I think they said you said not in St. George, but up north, that's where the shooting happened and stuff. And to kind of see that the arrest was made here. He was able to travel all the way down. It's about a 4-hour drive from up there. Does it kind of shock you that an arrest was made here?
Absolutely, it shocks us.
Well, I can't believe with the FBI and the governor and Trump and everybody that was working on this, in 33 hours, they caught him. They figured out where he lived, but I never would have thought it would be anybody from here.
Yeah, this is a very conservative county.
Very conservative.
Yeah, a lot of older people, a lot of families. You know, it just is not. It just doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. I have grown up here as well to see something like this happen, and it, to be hit so close to home. Kind of talk to me. You guys said that, I mean, it's such a tight-knit community. Do you guys know who this person is, who the family is, and kind of anything about them?
I know nothing about them. Nothing.
Yeah. We just pulled up, and we talked to the lady down the street. And she was a school teacher, correct?
She'd been a school teacher.
And she taught them, and her kids grew up with him.
Yeah, she's seen the children since they were just little guys.
And she says that they had no clue that this was something that would have happened because of his personality. There was just nothing.
Nothing. No red flags.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He was a good kid.
He was an NPC is what he was. NPC.
I mean, and they talked a lot about him getting very political just recently. So I think that a lot of people are shocked to hear this.
Oh, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean,
it just doesn't happen in St. George. I mean, I don't even lock my doors at night. You know, because this is such a nice community, and it's family oriented, and it's elderly people, and it's just a nice community to live in. And to have something like this, to know that, now I don't live close by, but to have something like this, you know, a mile and a half away from me.
It doesn't fit the profile at all. Not at all.
And you said a mile and a half away from you was where the arrest was made. Does it worry you? You said you don't even lock your doors at home. That's kind of the community that this is. Going forward, after something like this happens here in southern Utah, in Washington City, is that something that's maybe going to change for you guys?
No, not at all. I'm from Atlanta, lived in Miami. I've always lived in a big city, so I've always been very cautious. Just the same, it's shocking, but it can happen anywhere, obviously.
Yeah, because I lived in San Jose, California for 40 years.
40 years, yeah.
And I mean, everything happened down there, but that's just not something that happens here. So I'm not going to be concerned here. No.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Yeah, guys. I mean, that's kind of what we know. It's a tight-knit community.
Yeah. That's like hop, skip, and a jump, St. George. Shit, dude. That's nuts. All right, so we'll do JD Lay.
This is 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, a Utah resident and a student at the school where Charlie was assassinated. According to President Trump, who announced this on the news this morning, the suspect's father turned him in through a minister who was involved with law enforcement. This is the suspect Tyler and the suspect's father right there. FBI has released this. It shows that Tyler had black sunglasses that match and Chuck Taylors, which are some of the most common shoes on the planet that match. Now, maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, or maybe I just woke up and I don't have enough coffee in me yet, but there are a few things that don't sit right to me here, like the fact that this is the third person that the FBI have confirmed that they had in custody that they thought was the suspect, or the idea that this was all done just by one person acting as a lone wolf. Some of these pieces of the puzzle fit nicely together, but it leaves us with so many other unanswered questions. But I'll keep you guys updated with details as they emerge, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments.
And that's why we have courts. If it wasn't him, we have courts. But if his dad turned his ass in, I'm pretty damn sure that it's who it's supposed to be.
We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th. in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well, and I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?" Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah, but I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I will now turn the microphone over to the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops.
That's right.
The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice.
I still say cops are a bunch of dicks, but if you have righteous cops, then yeah. But Americans still need to carry their guns around. Don't give a fuck.
To the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership.
I'm just glad that it wasn't one of those where the suspect took his life and then it goes nowhere.
Will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play, and we will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m. where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver it to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 interviews, 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great, and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake Field Office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive, speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement, to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community, because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family, because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that have stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere, and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now.
Yeah.
Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. You know, this bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for, just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire.
Yeah.
There was no violence.
Right. What's up, California?
There were vigils.
What's up, Democrats?
And prayers.
Democrats.
And people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse.
Yeah.
But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend, an author Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. Like, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. And he said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
I gotta say that was really good. That was really awesome. Utah didn't burn nothing down. If this was a Democrat area, they would have burned it down like George Floyd. Now, granted, I was angry as balls, but I still didn't go burn nothing down. I set all my anger out on the internet. I even said prayers. I did all of that. But I ain't burned nothing down. I got angry. My last night stream didn't end until like 1 o'clock. You know, I went through all the jackasses that are happy, and now they're getting their just desserts. Apparently, they're all getting fired from their jobs, and they're crying, and they're like, no, I won't be able to pay my cell phone bill, so I won't have my TikTok.
I cannot
He didn't turn himself in. His parents turned his ass in.
speak to that right now. Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not. And by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating.
Please.
This level of hatred that this person expressed. Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you discovered that may have radicalized or changed him to prompt him to commit such a horrific?
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor,
Yeah,
you indicated that he had been communicating with a friend on Discord about the gun. Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes, but the investigation is ongoing.
How he came into custody of police and where he is right now?
Yes, so right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. For those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him in. Please, I'll go here. I can't share any more than what I've already shared. Yeah. So how we obtained the gun was found here. So I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County.
Is he talking with authorities and did he discuss a motive?
I'm sorry? We don't have any information that would lead us to believe that. Yes, in fact, it was just released. Yes.
Is he talking with authorities and did he discuss a motive?
I can't answer that right now. Yeah, thank you. Over here. I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history. Yes. The question is, what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history, or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s, and having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets. We are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage, again, I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together, the Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight, last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be, I mean, you know, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there. This is our moment. Do we escalate, or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Could we clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m.? Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits?
Correct. Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes.
Suspect was from Utah. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about where, and was he a student here at the school, and is there any history of mental illness?
Yeah. So I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington
so he
County.
never even...
So the most part of our cities. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working. The county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
Wow. That's good. That's good. I'm happy. I'm happy that they got him. It's just crazy, dude. It's 45 minutes away, and from where I'm at, dude. I got to go to Washington County just to go eat some In-N-Out. To St. George. That's where the In-N-Out is, man. Fuck, dude. Oh, man. I'm glad they got him, though. I really am. What do you got to say, Dabu? What do you got to say?
This is Dabu7, and we've got some explosive.
Oh, I wonder, is Dabu going to be like, oh, it's too easy. It's too easy.
Details here to go over in terms of the Charlie Kirk shooting. And it seems people out there had foreknowledge, as you're about to see. On the left is a screenshot from a video that was posted 6 days before the shooting by the character that you see on the screen. And in it, they are citing that the Charlie Kirk account, official account, posted that they were sad to announce that Charlie had passed away. He was found inside of his Florida home. That's what this said. So it was calling out his death in a different manner, though, 6 days earlier. And it's said to have come from the official account. But when you go back and look, it's not there on his official account. Regardless, this post was made, this comment, everything was put out in a video, and it did happen. We also have all the talk of these books being published on the day that he was shot. All these books getting kicked out, which no one had time to think of, to type up, to gather all the information, and to even put this stuff out. Now, what's pretty crazy here is Amazon has put out a statement connected to this whole thing, saying that they have removed this book. and that there's an investigation on this book in question. They say that they have a content guidelines set in place for all books that can be listed. They remove books that do not adhere to these guidelines. They say the title in question is no longer available for sale. Due to a technical issue, the date of the publication that had been displayed for this title, while it was briefly listed, was incorrect, and we apologize for any confusion that this may have caused. The title was published in the afternoon on September 10th. That's what they try to say here, and all these places are trying to say the same thing, and it's not just one, it's many different places, many different books. You can see a different one here, and you can see the date here, September 10th, is the publishing date, The Legacy of Charlie Kirk. All these books getting kicked out. How? A ton of people asking the question, how?
Look,
how is this even possible?
I'll tell you how. You see this author right here, Andrew West. You look at his political affiliates, and then if it falls in line with Democrats, which 9 times out of 10 Andrew West would, he would probably know ahead of time, like months ahead of time, and then know, but he wouldn't know when to post it, but he would be told, oh, you should post it on this day, and then that would be the day it would happen. Yeah, this is a cabal. This is deep state Democrat side. They wanted Charlie Kirk. You know, they wanted him, regardless. The higher ups, John Podesta, people like that. John Podesta said that if Trump got in, that it was time to civil war and separate the Democrat states, and stuff like that. So, yeah, not everybody that has a name that's out, 9 times out of 10, they knew it was going to happen before it happened. They just needed a date to release it without knowing it was going to happen on that day.
Let's also throw in that Jezebel, their official account, said that we paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. And this was on the 8th. You can see the timestamp on it right there. Articles that were posted with the breaking news showing 13 hours ago, right when all this broke loose. Warnings that were put out by Charlie himself that if anything happened to him, it would be a certain entity or a certain someone that would be behind it. Yeah. And he made this loud and clear. Kash Patel announcing today that this whole thing was solved in under 30-some hours, 33 hours to be exact, leaving their signature. And wouldn't you know, thanks to the numerology, we can see that from the day Trump stepped in office to this date, September 10th, it was 33 weeks, 3 days, with a reduction of 33. And then when you go from September 11th to October 14th, which was Charlie Kirk's birthday, it was 33. It's all there.
What?
And who is this goon Omar, who suspiciously removed the post and then the account no longer exists? This character that you see right here dropped this, that Charlie is coming to my college tomorrow and he hopes someone evaporates him, and goes on to say, let's just say that something big will happen tomorrow. He knew in advance. And now it's all gone. Thankfully, I got screenshots.
Yeah.
So what in the world is going on with all these anomalies surrounding this? Well, I think you know. Join me for the live streams, going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And tonight, diving down the rabbit holes connected to this and a whole lot more. I hope to see you guys there.
Yeah. Well, good on them, man. Good on them. All right, everybody. I am going to be going to work, getting shit done. Enjoy, like and share, subscribe. And we got them. We got them. Go after the other people as well. But then again, freedom of speech is freedom of speech. And if that guy knew something bad was going to happen to Charlie Kirk, then yeah, that dude needs to be picked up and find out who told him that something bad was going to happen after he announced that Charlie Kirk was coming. You know, who told him? Was it the shooter? Was it a Democrat? And also question all the people that put out those books. Because, like I said, dude, they attempted to do a JFK, Martin Luther King conspiracy. This dude was probably drove all the way home just to wait for someone to meet up with him to end his life, but his dad probably figured out what was going on and was like, yeah, no, you're going to jail, bruh. You're going to jail. And if he's found guilty, then so be it. He's found guilty. That's why we have a court system. If he did it, he did it. If he didn't do it, then he didn't do it. But, you know, we didn't burn nothing down. And in my anger, I didn't say burn anything down. I said everyone needs to carry guns, and I have not changed it. Every American needs to carry guns. I don't care what color you are. If you have an American birth certificate, you need to carry a gun. So when the stupid people are doing stupid things, you or the next person behind you can stop that person from even starting it. So yeah. Train your kids with guns. Train all the way up. I don't say kids need to go to school with guns, but once they graduate high school, then yeah, kids in my mom's era, in the 70s and those eras, they went to schools. They had gun racks in their trucks and went to schools. There were no gun shootings at schools because everybody had a gun. So look at it like that. It's not take away the guns. It's we need to shove our guns down everybody's throats and say, look, dude, we're done with you. You can't protect us. We're going to stop it before it happens. We're going to carry our guns. Carry them, people. All right. Y'all have a good one. Like and subscribe. This is Laughing Man, and I am out.